All right, so good day, learners. So today we will now jump to our next tutorial. Today I want to work on data visualization essentials. So telling stories with craft and plots. So I'm gonna introduce the ggplot in R. So choosing the right graph, boxplot, histogram, scatterplot, bar chart, and also basic customizations and common visualization mistakes. So previously this is the short tutorial that I made. So first was how to apply for funding, step-by-step guide for the USC. So I think a lot of the people I know that they wanted to know like how the does this UST funding is the process. So basically it's a very long tutorial. So it's like 50 minutes, but I think it's worth it to watch it. So basically I just show there like how to fill in the forms and everything from UST. So this is based on my training just last week. So I had a training in BSU last December 3 and 4. I think it's really nice to watch it if you are interested in getting your project funded by the OST in our CP. So also I have a previous tutorial on understanding your data set, so data cleaning, data management, and tidying workflows. So today I have a short tutorial on the basic graph at class where if you're working on a thesis or on your research publication, I think it's a good start to use this basic visualizations and just try to look at your data and like what pattern you can get and what information you are trying to abstract based on your data set. So the thing in publication is, when we published our research, is like what we need is the information, right? So if we wanted to get the right information, so we need to have the right data, right? So when you have the right data, and then you can derive very informative information that you wanted to share to your audience. So today, I'm gonna teach that on how to uh, run a simple data visualization. So I kind of rewrite it just to make sure that the code is working. So I'm just gonna clean everything. So again, this is our studio. So just have a recap. So basically, this is your environment. So right now it's empty because I deleted all the history, and you see here the your previous code, and basically you can look at the results of your plots or graph that you made. So basically you can just see, you can click zoom and then you can see um the graph, the output of your created code. So you can also click this export, and yes, you can see clip and copy to clipboard, and you can just drag all the way up, down, depending on what you need. But I will teach that later on. So let's just start with the beer visit. So with that one, I already have a code here, but if you are starting your code, you can go to file, you go to new file, and then there is our script there. And then you can write your own code. So let's see, I'm gonna save it. So just click Control S and I say my code for, I don't know, you can write anything you want. So let's say data analysis, let's say basic. Okay, now you have it. So now is your file. So then I'll try to kind of just to run over this. So this, the first is we need to load our libraries. Load our library. So in order for me to have, you can write this way. So you can click code, and then you can go to comment and comment lines, and you can also code insert section, just like just to have like a pattern. So let's say one is load library. Okay, now you load your library, and I'm gonna just copy this so that you will see the whole idea. So I'm gonna run it. So there are other, again, two ways of running your code. So you can just highlight and then you run, and you can see that library is already loaded here in your working uh, load library or your console. So with that, you can also do like this, just highlight control and then enter. So it's pretty same. Now let's say let's have example data set tree measurement. So I'm just gonna try to copy that. I want to do it step by step so that you will have an idea. So again, I'll click code, insert section, and number two, let's say example data set, tree measurements, and then you click OK. Now let's try to copy the code for making a data set. So I just want to explain this a little bit just to make sure that you understand what we're doing here. So this is the how it's like a name where you could write your data set. So this is the name of the file that you want to create. So basically, once you click this one here, it will somehow shown here. And then because I want to creating a data set, so I want to create a data set that species 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want to create this data set and with corresponding DBH. So in that case, Sharia 35, Sharia this one, and then corresponding height. So this is how you write the code. I think it's pretty simple. And species and C, and you just put the C here and then run it. Then you can see your data set, the newly created data set. So in that case, you have now the species, the Sharia. So basically, we have three Sharia, one Picus, and two the Carp. So I think that's pretty interesting data. No, sorry, interesting pretty set data set that we are working on. Now let's try to uh, look at how to use to histogram, simple histogram. So let's say I'm gonna again view code insert tree, and then I'm gonna write tree and as basic histogram. Okay, so with that one, I can see here the code, but before that, I can just just write a simple code for visualizing my data. So let's say I'm gonna look at the head of my data. I prefer to change my data to tree. So I'm gonna write this way. So the name of the new data and this arrow and then trees. So you can see here it changed the name of the data set from trees to data. So I'm just gonna do that data. So you can see here that you have a these are the information you get when you do the head. And you get the dimension. So which is my previous tutorial. So you have here 6 observations, 3 variables. So in that case, we don't have missing values. So we have the deviation, we have the height, and I think we are good to run. So the good thing for R is basically you can customize everything. So I'm going to start with a simple histogram. So histogram for R, you can say, you can write hist and you say data and dollar sign, which is, I'm gonna look at dbh centimeter. So see, you can see now there the histogram of your dbh. So basically you have dbh from 10 and you have the maximum is 60. So I'm gonna change that to height. Height, see? So it already appeared and then you can just enter and run it and you can also see the histogram of height, which is the minimum is 10 and then 35. So the good thing here is we only have 6 observations. But imagine if you are having a data set like 1,000 trees or I don't know, 10,000 or 1 million trees, especially if you're dealing with a large data set. So R is very powerful in this particular coding. Okay, so now let's proceed to a code for histogram with customizations of the name and using the ggplot. So ggplot is a package. So if you don't have a package, you can say go to packages and install, and then you can say ggplot. and basically it will appear, and then you just click it and then install here. But I'm not gonna do that because I already installed this library. Okay, so this is a simple histogram. But then if you want to customize, when you look at this simple histogram, basically it's just a histogram of data height, data. So it's like, it doesn't mean anything if you wanted to copy this graph. So that is the main reason why you need to somehow like customize your code to make some labels or whatever that you want to write. So in this case, the ggplot. So because I changed the name of the dataset to data, so I'm gonna change that to data. But as long as the trees is still there, you can also use trees. And then this is aesthetic. So I'm working on the DBH. And the geom histogram. So beans, it's like the number of beans. Beans like beans is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the number of bar that you wanted to show. So let's say, for example, I'm going to change that to this is currently this is 5. So maybe I'll try to change it later. See the differences. And the labs is that the lab name, the title is histogram of 3 dBH, and the X is the dBH, and the Y axis names is frequency. So here, Y is frequency, X on the bottom should be dBH, centimeter instead of just getting data height. So I'm gonna run this code, and there you go. Now you can see the output of the tissue plot. So see, it's like you have the histogram of 3 dBH, you have the frequency, and you also have the dBH in this case, which is the maximum is 60 centimeters. So it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm gonna try to make it like, I don't know, let's say 6. We'll see if it will work. So not because it's basically just one, and it doesn't make sense anymore because we only have source observations. So probably R would not allow me to do that. But imagine if you already have 10,000 trees, then it would be easy to look at. All right, so that's it. That's for the simple histogram. Now let's move to the box plot. So what is a box plot? Box plot is uh, where you can compare by species or by category. So again, I'm gonna change this to the data. And again, aesthetics, I want to work on species and DBH and geom box. So you have to be careful with this because if you want a backspot, you need to specify in ggplot the geom backspot and also your geom histogram. And the log, so the same what we did here, histogram of 3 dBH, but now because it's dBH by species, and X is a species and Y is the dBH. So let's just try to run that here. And that's quite interesting result. So you can see the box plot is just showing you the overview of the summarized in terms. So we are working here as usually we wanted to look at the differences of category based on the numeric values. In this case, we wanted to look at the differences of species, among the differences of DBH among species. You can see here that the DBH from 20 to 50, and these are the species. So you can see there the turquoise has the highest DBH, which is 50 centimeter, and followed by Sharia, and the lowest is the ficus. So by looking at that, you can already look at like, oh, so why do you think the turquoise has the biggest DBH? I want to know how, or I want to know like the variation. So this is exactly how you have the basic data visualizing. So maybe I want to look at as well height. So let's say I'm gonna replace that to height. And let's try to look at it if there is also a variation. And basically it's pretty the same because we are working on the same data set, but look at here so we have to change this into height because it's no longer dBH, it's height. So let me just try to change to meters. and then height. Okay, let's then run it, and there you go. It will change. Okay, so I think that's very pretty clear. Now let's run for a simple scatter plot. So scatter plot. What is a scatter plot? So scatter plot is you need numeric variables. So between it depends on your research, but let's say I want you want to look at the pattern of the DBH and height. So again, this is the ggplot data. I want to change that to data and aesthetics. So I want to look at the patterns of centimeter of the DBH and height. So you can do whatever you can write here, but again, scatterplot requires two numeric variables. So during point three size tree, you can put that way, and the lobs pretty the same. So DBH, height, and then X and Y axis name. So I'm gonna run that, and basically this is the results. So this is see we have you can see because we only have six trees. So one, two, three, four, five, six. But again, it would be really good if you have a data set which is let's say 10,000, 50,000, and then the more data you have, I think it would be but part of but for this training is just to how to run a simple scatter plot. So this is how it is. You can change the size of this cell. Let's say because you wanted to make it bigger, you can have it 7. Let's just run this again and see the size of the point is getting bigger. So I think that's a very simple. And then let's try to have a regression line. So what is a regression line? So regression line is just um so regression line is basically what we did here is the same with scatter plot, but we wanted to have it like a line. So let's say the same, but I'm just gonna change this to data and centimeter and height and gym point I wanted 4. And the method is linear modeling. LM stands for linear modeling. So you're gonna have to choose let which method that you want to use. So but mostly is LM depends on what you need. So same with the lobs, the title. I can change that actually. So if it's a name or a word, you can always choose to say height relationship, diverge. It really depends on what we need here. Okay, and then I'm gonna run that, see if it will work. And there you go. So see, the good thing for having this trend line and linear regression is to be able to see the pattern. So basically it's the same with the scatter plot, but in our case is we just add a line from like a linear modeling. Okay, and then what we have now is the bar plot. So the bar plot, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but I think this is how the bar plot should work. So bar plot again is you wanted to look at how many species. It's somehow the same with the species with a histogram, but this is more focused on like the count. But you can use histogram for this, but let's see if it has the same result. So let's say data. And digital data aesthetics, I want to work on species. So you can have the family, you can have the scientific name, or whatever that you want to look at. So geom bar, and of course the lab title number of trees per species on the x-axis and y on the count on the y-axis. So let's just run that. So basically you can see the weight of of the species. So what we have here is just a count. So Sharia, you have 3 because you have 2 or you have 1, and the paragraphs you have 2. So this is so you can actually maximize or customize this. Let's say, for example, you wanted to have not instead of count, but you wanted to, let's say, proportion or percentage or whatever that you want to write. Be careful with the data set because if you're gonna do that and then just change it, but this is number of trees per hectare. per species. So first, maybe you wanted to convert the basal area. Let's say you wanted to look at the terms of the basal area. So you can change to the x-axis and the y-axis. All right, that is pretty simple, pretty simple today. And the last one is customized theme. So this is the good thing in R is you can have it bicolor or you can have it black and white. So what I'm showing you here is just black and white. So everything is just black and white. You can see that. But if you want to customize that into something colorful, so again, it's the same data, but then there is so-called theme minimal, but you want it to color the geom the box plots. In this case, we just sorry, we have the geom box plots. We want to fill it by color sky blue and theme minimal and lob. So when you run that, so see there is already a blue, but like let's say you want let's say you want red, and it will make red. Okay, so there is a way to save your plot like this. So let's say G, you just type in there GG save and then open parentheses and quotation, whatever you want to write in here. So let's say you wanted to GG blog. So I just want to run this. Okay, in that case, you click it already and just you go back to your working uh folder and then you have here the .dbh by species. So basically it will be shown like this. But for me it's just to make sure that I'm saving the right figure. So I just go, this is for me, it's very easy and quick and simple. So I'll just click export because I want to export it to other extension to PDF, to JPEG, or to PNG. So what I do is I just copy to clipboard and then I will drag it here like I want this size, or I want that size, I want that size, I want that size and that here. So it really depends on what you want. So I just do that and then I can copy plot. See copy plot and you're gonna put it in your Word. That's how you do it as well. So I can do copy. Was working, but let me check why it's not working. So copy plot and there you go. So that's weird. I don't know what happened, but okay, let's just try it the other way. So save as image. I want to try save as image. And then I'm just gonna drag all the way there, there, and right, I lost it. So here, and then you have to select which image format that you want to save. So I just already go for PNG, JPEG. So what am I talking about? This way, JPEG or TIFF or PNG works for me. And then the file name that you want to save, let's say box plot by species, and then you just click enter, and you go back to your directory folder, and you can see box plot by species. So this is what I made. So pretty is what exactly, and then you can copy this already and put it in your Word, and there you go. Drag all the way down, and you can see dig your one box plot, blah blah blah. So that's exactly how you start interpreting the results. And yeah, the paragraph has bigger DBH felt like sure yeah, and because so this is how you can write your interpretation, stuff like that, and just tell the story, like what is your research all about. So all right, so I think that's all for this video, this data visualization essentials. So dealing source with grabs and plots, it's important that you visualize your data first, and then you kind of try to make it where the bullets like, oh, the chart has this and that. And then like you start connecting the dots, like why does your results show like that. So again, thank you for today, and I look forward for your uh, comment. And again, these are my available tutorials, so feel free to watch them during your free time. And of course, it's my personal website, so everything is there. My ebooks and travel experiences and my fitness profile, and of course my scholarship, my education, and my tutorials. Right now, I'm in an editor in chief and reviewer of most year and future Springer journal. So you can contact me here. My email address, rodrigo@gmail.com, and also my work email, rafi.rodrigo@lipso.edu. So thanks again for watching, and see you for my next video.